All right, serious.
Serious? What's that? I don't know how to be serious. That's what my boss always says. You don't know how to be serious. I'm like, well, I'm serious at chilling. So
That's the dude.
that's right.
Right there. I should have got you a fucking mudslide or a White Russian, man.
White Russian would have been
I should have got you oh, man.
And too much dairy today. I already had a 1/4 pound of cheese.
You had a 1/4 pound of cheese?
Yes.
Not a 1/4 pounder with cheese.
No. 1/4 pound of cheese. Gouda cheese.
Hold on, back up. Thank you for tuning in to the Redacted Podcast. We have our guest here who's agreed to come on under the condition that he's anonymous, his identity's not revealed. He's just the dude. We're just going to call him the dude. He kind of looks like the dude. He acts like the dude. It's cool. I like it. Back there on the soundboard, we have Pamela. She's been sworn to secrecy. She's not going to reveal who he is. And yeah, man. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for being on the show. You got some interesting shit.
Thank you.
You really do. And when, I don't know, we first interacted or we were emailing, I got to read some of your writings. And I guess that's what drew me to it. Because you're an extremely talented writer. And you have a fuck ton to say. So I was like, fuck it. We've got to get this guy on the show. We got to talk with him. We got to pick his brain. We got to see what kind of a life he's lived, because it's interesting as fuck. So, I guess, if we're going to tell the story and talk about it, like, where did you kind of start? Where did you grow up? Just kind of briefly, so we can get a picture of where you were at before this.
Well, I started it as a sexual act with my parents. They fucked.
No shit, me too.
So that's where I started, was my parents fucking. So I started like that, and I ended up here on your podcast.
Man, what a journey.
Wow.
What a journey. Okay, so more specifically, where did you kind of grow up? Like, what kind of city, area?
Where I grew up, I like to say we're on a journey that I grew up at a emotional health facility. That's where I grew up. Prior to that, I was just a punk, and now I feel like a man. So I'm really thankful for my time, in some behavioral health.
What the fuck's an emotional health facility?
I can't give the name away, but it's just any sort of place that works on behavioral health, emotional mental health, therapists, group sessions.
What age were you?
I turned 28. Yeah, when Saturn returned. Yeah, 28. Actually, I started going to therapy around the same time I started living in the van.
Okay. Was that an inpatient thing?
No, I was not required to go. Okay. It was outpatient.
Okay.
I was there on my own volition. I started to sign up for it when my relationship was breaking down.
Yeah.
I was in a relationship with a woman, and she was telling me the relationship's breaking down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
in your mid to late 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's much older, and she's 50 something.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Okay.
A beautiful model.
They call that a cougar.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess you could call her that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cougar hunting.
She was like a lion. Oh my God. Whew, beautiful blonde hair. Like,
and this was like up in what city?
North of Philly.
Okay. North of Philly. Okay. So you're with her, relationship breaks down, and it fucked you up pretty bad.
Well, I was working a job, and the guy that I was working with, he was saying, I can't pay you what I'm paying you. I have to pay you less. And I said, okay.
It's fucked up.
Well, it is. I agree. And so the next day I told him, I said, hey, my relationship's breaking down, and that's why I seem so out of it. That's why I seem just out of it. I don't know how to describe it. I'm out of it.
Yeah.
So I understand why you're paying me less. So he told me to go to this place, and he was the third person to tell me to go. Another person was my girlfriend at the time, and the other person was my sister. So once he told me, I said, okay, there's my third indication.
Yeah.
So that was around July of 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Time's flying. 2017.
Yeah, it does.
It was around July of 2017. And then, so the relationship broke down. I left August 1st to go live with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw in my dad all the reasons why my relationship broke down, according to my girlfriend.
Oh, shit.
I had a no shit moment.
Like a mirror. Like somebody holding a mirror to you.
I don't know about a mirror, but it was seeing a similar, because he's not me and I'm not him, so mirror doesn't fit.
But maybe some of the same fucking broken parts.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I think we all get that in some way. So
saw that. And then I was thinking, I can't stay here much longer. And now, like I said, I was working. The guy couldn't pay me as much, and I had stopped working when I moved to go live with my dad, and I was in between things, and still trying to do handyman work, just working independently, because who can work for a boss?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sucks.
Yeah.
A lot of people do it.
Well, I think they're kind of bitches if they do.
Yeah. It could be said either way. It's a fucking weird thing. It's like it's a
balance.
It is. It is a balance. It's a balance. It's tough. Almost brave. Like if you know it, if you know how fucked up it is and you do it anyway, that's almost kind of fucking brave, maybe. Or crazy stupid.
Crazy stupid.
What do they call it? Phony, tough, crazy, brave?
Something.
Some shit like that.
I just don't like it.
So you were just
doing my own thing.
Doing your own thing.
Yeah. And didn't have any encouragement from him to keep doing my own thing or anything like that, of course.
Yeah.
And one day, one of the reasons, that our relationship my relationship with the girlfriend broke down, was just explosions of anger.
Yeah.
One day my dad exploded in anger, and I couldn't do it anymore. So I just started living in the van. That was it. I was cargo van, metal floor, metal, just pure, no windows, just a metal box.
That was 2017, and that was van life, and you were doing van life before it was cool.
Oh, it's cool, yeah.
There's a bunch of YouTubers and shit that sell their mansion and go live in a fucking van to start a YouTube channel or a TikTok or something. But you were like pure with it. You weren't trying to start something.
Right. There's a lot of people.
I think that's kind of cool.
There's a lot of people that live like that, that move into their vehicle out of a desperation. I'm not the only one that has had to do that.
Well, yours was like your freedom, right?
That's true.
That was like a step of freedom versus people who are trying to do it for views and to just, oh, we're going to go live in a van. How cute. Here's our build out. Here's what we did. Like, I don't know. I'm sick of those. Can we stop those?
Well,
can we just fucking stop those people already?
What you can do instead of stopping them is you just unsubscribe. You just don't subscribe.
I know. Don't look at it.
Well,
I keep seeing it.
That's the thing is if
School bus, the schoolies, and they're building those out.
Well, where do you see it? Like, do you see it? Like, is there somebody like that manufactures these places that you drive by and you see it all the time?
No, I see it on that fucking thing.
You're scrolling through
my fucking stupid scroll.
I see. You got
it just pops. So yeah, I know.
I'm subscribed from that scroll, man.
I'd unsubscribe from the whole fucking thing if I could.
You can.
Like, I would throw it in the ocean. I would throw my phone with my Facebook and my TikTok and all the other bullshit right in the fucking ocean if I could.
It's like a companion had inspired me to get on the Twitter to share the writing, and the homepage is just nothing but a scroll, and it's just I can't do it.
It's manipulative too, because we keep looking for like little hits of dopamine, you know. Ooh, make me laugh, and I don't know. It
can't do the scroll, man.
There's some shit I like, but does it make my life any better? Fuck no. Probably in some weird long-term way, it makes me more unhappy and just kind of fucking fries my noodle a little bit. And I mean, I probably didn't scroll like most people until 5 years ago, 7 years ago. That's when they figured that out. The tech companies kind of figured out that fucking scroll.
The scroll was figured out.
You know what I mean now? Like where they just honed it in, where you're like getting hit with shit you like and it knows you and the algorithm just feeds you the perfect thing to just keep you doing it.
Don't feed the system, man.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess I was lucky that I feel bad for kids because they're helpless. My brain was at least developed. I made it, past 25 when my prefrontal cortex could fucking figure out what the fuck it was doing with the world. So I was allowed to develop whatever fucking brain I have. Not much of one, but I got it. But these kids, man, oh, fuck. That's just horrible. That's horrible. But anyway, so you were doing the van life thing just for freedom. In a way, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's freedom, without
and you've been doing it since.
I've been doing
6 years.
Yeah. Well, except for COVID. COVID, I was lucky enough to be on a farm. A vineyard, actually.
Cool.
That was cool.
So you decided to do it. How? And once again, this isn't van life for a fucking YouTube channel. This is van life because, one, you needed to. Two, you wanted the freedom. And you kind of unplugged. Well, when you did that, did you kind of unplug?
No, I was still scrolling. I was scrolling for a while. I was forced off the scroll when I went to go onto Marketplace, the Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
And they wanted my ID. And it was too much work. It's like, it's ridiculous. No. So my Facebook's locked up, which is awesome. So that's just.
So you had one and it's fucking toasted.
It's toasted because, I went to go on Marketplace and it was cool. So but now I have a Twitter, but I don't go on the scroll. I did a couple times. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. Man, I envy that. I'd like to get off of it.
I don't know why people
start like a rehab clinic just for fucking the scroll, man. Like a inpatient fucking.
It's tough because sometimes I think, maybe I want to just scroll through Facebook. Just waste time.
It's nice. It's easy. It's too easy.
It's too easy.
It's too easy, and it learns you. And then it feeds you exactly what you want, which is too fucking easy.
I got tired of it. It's gross.
Yeah. So you were, what were your, living, I guess you would say, in the van, doing the van life thing.
Metal floor. Actually,
what were the challenges? What sucked about it at first that you didn't anticipate?
It's always challenging.
Yeah.
It's always challenging.
Yeah.
It's just finding peace, and chill through the challenge. And one of the interesting things that I think with how people respond about happiness, something we were stroking earlier, is about being happy. You see these rich people who are unhappy, and here's the dude who's smiling, being a vibing guy in his van.
Yeah.
And doesn't have much of a dime, but he's chilling. And I don't know.
There's something to that.
There's something to that.
I mean, it's and I think, I mean, just to go back, not to keep beating the dead horse, but the reason people start YouTube channels doing this, because I think there's some little dream in everyone that's plugged in with their 40 hours a week and their big ass mortgage and all the pressures and stresses that they have going on. There's some kind of a little fantasy somewhere in there that, like, maybe I could fucking do that. What would that be like? To just be me and the fucking road and myself and beauty, nature, seeing different things, traveling. Like, what would that be fucking like? Because so many of the people, at least a lot of the suburban class, I guess I'm a part of, and that I see a lot of, is I just notice it's kind of like you look at you starting to do that, and then you look at them. Who's in the cage? You know, I think in a way they're in the cage. They're trapped. You're not, to an extent.
I feel
you have
kind
different,
of trapped. It's a financial
different challenges.
trap.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Different challenges. But I think that's the fantasy. So, you know, suburban people, you know, holding down jobs, families, mortgages, car payments, the whole fucking 9 yards. I mean, that's a trap. You're stuck to that. You're chained to your debt. You're chained to what you owe. You can't stop working, or all of that's gone and the banks are coming after you.
I never stopped working. I still,
Yeah, you know what I mean? You
still,
can't.
my van wasn't paid off, you know, when I was living in it, you know, still had to finish paying it off. I was still paying that. I was still paying insurance. I still pay registration.
Yeah.
Pay for gas. So one of the things I started doing was I got a storage unit. I said, okay, I'm going to just get a storage unit too.
Okay.
You know, and I was lucky enough to find a place that was family owned. So it was chill. It wasn't awful.
Yeah.
So I found so much to be thankful for. My first night in the van, I smiled in such contentment, you know, and thought of all the people in the world that didn't even have a roof to sleep under, even a metal floor, you know, to sleep on.
Yeah.
You know, and
just being thankful for something simple.
Yeah, and being thankful I wasn't going to be around my dad, who would just freak out for no reason, you know, and just be a negative influence on me anymore.
Yeah.
I was free of that. So yeah, freedom, big time. And keep working on being my own man.
So, and that's just interesting, that first night, you know, like the kind of smile.
Yeah, I was at a bar. Went to the bar that he hated, so I knew I wouldn't see him.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, it was. I went to that bar a lot. I slept in that parking lot a lot.
That's the other thing with the van, is you got to fucking find a place to put it. Was that kind of a challenge to
Always
figure
a
out?
challenge.
Still a challenge.
Still a challenge.
So what was your kind of learning process with that? What are the nuances with that?
Oh my God.
I mean, and these aren't, once again, this is you trying to do it out of necessity, not these people with like campgrounds booked and, you know, that try to
booking a campground.
Try to glamorously do it. Well, they like book it out and go to all these places and shit. But you're just trying to survive doing it. You're just like, okay, this is a necessity and this is my freedom. What are your challenges from parking it, and what's that learning process? And like trying to find a place to hang out.
Yeah, so parking is, oh man, you got to just find the spot that's quiet. You know, it's going to where I blend in, right? So you want to find like vehicles. I don't want to describe what my vehicle looks like. I mean, I guess I could describe it. It's a white van.
Yeah.
looks like every other white van.
Yeah.
So I just find other white vans to park next to sometimes.
Yeah.
Blend right in.
What do they call that? They call that something like covert camping or
camouflage.
I don't know. You know, like people have like a big like RV. It's pretty fucking obvious.
Yeah.
What about like Walmarts and shit? I always see a lot of people.
I try to stay out of Walmarts. So the thing with my van, it doesn't have any windows.
Okay.
So I need to open the door to have air.
Okay.
And that's a vulnerability. So I need to find something secure.
Like a little more private.
Yeah, private. Yeah.
Okay.
So it takes a lot of effort to nail down a location where I'm not going to get bothered.
Okay.
Because I want to keep coming back to it, or I want to find a couple locations that I could jump to.
Do you get fucked with a lot by like, at first you probably get fucked with more like security or police or property owners.
Yeah, that first year was an adjustment. Yeah, definitely that first summer.
Yeah.
Lots of adjustment. Yeah, just parking right in town.
Yeah.
Not giving a hoot.
What would happen?
Oh my God. There's one guy, he was drunk. It was like 2:00. I parked outside of his apartment and I'm like, oh man, I see a guy. Fuck. Because I don't want to be seen getting into it. Just, less is more. So anyway, he saw me getting in and he just starts banging on the truck. I'm like, oh my God. I have a policy. I don't open the door at night. Because this night was a little chillier, I guess. I was able to close the door.
Oh, it's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's 2 a.m. He's drunk, banging on the door, calling me asshole, bum, whatever.
Yeah.
And he waves down a cop, and the cops try to open the door, and they're like, well, I ran his registration license, blah, blah, blah. It's all good. If he's in there sleeping, that's fine. As long as he doesn't steal anything and, he does give us a call or whatever.
Yeah.
Otherwise leave him alone.
Just fucked off then.
Yeah. So I had another guy, was parked on the same street, just the other end of the street, same town, and then the opposite end. I'm brushing my teeth the one day and this boomer comes out.
Boomer.
He comes out and his arms are all shaking. I'm like, you all right, dude? And I'm like, what are you doing here? I'm brushing my teeth. He's like, I don't want you living here. You're freaking my wife out.
Oh, jeez.
Well, it's a public street, I'm parking here, It's like, why do you have to park here? I'm like, well, this is the closest street, without, a time limit
Yeah.
to the center of town.
Yeah.
So I don't have to like walk as far to hang out.
Yeah.
At the Starbucks. And
yeah.
So he was telling me he's like from Northeast Philly and doesn't put up with this. I'm like, listen, man, I can't just leave because you want me to leave, because eventually if I, do that.
Freaking someone out isn't a crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then that same summer, same street. Now I'm in the middle of the street.
Okay.
And
you like that street?
I like that street because, like I said, it was close to the center of town. It didn't really have any
restrictions.
Parking restrictions. And the one day, I'm sitting down and I'm making some dinner, and a cop comes up to me. He says, "Hey, I got a call." I'm like, all right, He's like, "Just wanted to come out, make sure you're all right." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right." He's like, "All right, cool. We just talk." He shares his name. I say, "Okay, cool." And he's like, "All right, I'll see you later, or have a good night, or whatever."
Yeah.
Next day, I finish cooking, put everything away. Undercover car shows up. 2-4 cars show up.
Fuck.
They show up in force. I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" And
That's fucked up.
So this guy comes up. He's like, "Yeah, I got a complaint. I got a call. Someone was cooking outside of their van or in their van." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Yeah, you're
Cooking?
not cooking. Yeah, like cooking with a
food.
propane stove right on the street." And
You sent 4 cops for fucking cooking?
yeah, big time. Yeah, because I
Big
guess
no.
I was there
No cooking.
Labor Day weekend. Yeah, I was there. So part of the reason I was there is I didn't really have too much money. I was only going to drive to go to a job.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not going to drive to just go somewhere, waste my gas, waste my money.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive to work. And I didn't have any work lined up, so I had to wait until work lined up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they said I needed to get out of there. Like, well, I've got a Labor Day party to go to, so I'm leaving under my own volition.
And there you go.
And anyway,
you can't fire me. I quit. I love it.
And yeah, that was an interesting interaction because he didn't see me cooking, but he went over some of the local ordinances, like no going to the bathroom in public, and no cooking on the street or on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what about public properties? Like, public property is fine if you have permission, from whoever's living there.
You mean private property?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
huh.
So yeah, it was cool. So then,
so you're learning the laws a little bit here too.
Learning the laws are incredibly important because one of the things I've developed in going through my breakdown with my girlfriend and then going to behavioral health was relationships.
Yeah.
And one of the relationships we have are relationships with law enforcement and the law and society in general.
Yeah.
And with all these relationships, it's really important to understand boundaries and expectations.
Yeah.
And so that's where, learning the laws are incredibly important. And we can get to some of that when I move down to Florida. So that interaction, he didn't see me cooking or anything. I had finished putting everything away. He tells me, you're not allowed to cook or anything. And I say, okay, what's your name? He tells me his name. I'm like, oh, you related to the other guy's name, we'll just say Frank.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that's my older brother. I'm like, oh, yeah? For the cop that came the other day. I'm like, oh, yeah? Who outranks who? He's like, I do.
There you go.
I thought that was kind of funny because the older brother saw me cooking, didn't say nothing.
Oh, no shit. Yeah.
Well,
so that's kind of the challenge of it. It's and it's not just like being in the van. It's like you also got to do stuff like cook something or get out, or you can't just lock up in there the whole time.
Now I'm forced to interact with the public all the time.
Yeah.
I'm constantly in the public.
Yeah.
Constantly in the public eye.
Well, because that's just basically a place to sleep and chill. Like everything else you got to be outside to do.
Yeah, and do my laundry. So after that interaction with the police, I walked to go do my laundry, talking with the one guy at the laundromat. And he lives down by the one corner with the guy that didn't like me living there from Northeast Philly.
Yeah.
And I told him about just everything I told you, essentially. And he said, oh, yeah, if you want to cook, you could cook right on my front step.
Oh, no shit. It's kind of nice.
It is. It's great. Same day. And then I went to the Labor Day party. I had a good time. Got hot Italian sausage on the way up.
So you found some people that fucked with you over the years, but then has there been some good, like that guy with his porch, there been some good helpers?
More than there are haters.
Really?
Oh, yeah. There's always a sea of haters, but that's just a sea of haters. It's those helpers that are wonderful. Oh, my God. I love the helpers.
What kind of help have you gotten? Like, what do you,
God.
I guess, in this journey and as you're starting it, like, what are you becoming grateful for? Like who, what?
I guess I can't specifically say who on this show, but who, wow.
You could just describe what they kind of did or how somebody helped you, or
it's just relationships in general. Just being present for somebody, being there, listening, having something to offer.
Yeah.
And just honestly being present and just being a good person to interact with is the seed of everything else. Of any sort of thing that can manifest in a relationship starts with some acknowledgement back and forth.
I mean, have people like let you park on their property, or like certain business owners or managers have been like, yeah, I can, but it's cool. Like, you're good. Like, stay here, whatever you need. I got you.
I receive so much love and support. As a late friend said, the world is wonderfully abundant.
Oh, that's a good way to think of it.
So there's plenty of abundance out there. There's plenty of room. It's just being open to the possibility.
You still feel that too. I mean, this day and age.
Yeah.
You feel the abundance, the positivity. You see the helpers. I mean, you're more in it than a lot of people are, right? Because if you're just going back and forth to your house from work, you're not running into situations where people need to be nice or you need to be nice to them. Everything you do, work and home, is all transactional, right? It's, I get this because I did this, but if you're living the way you are, there's a little more relationship to it. There's a little bit more where you're really interacting with people, the environment, the world,
really real.
Law enforcement, security guards, managers, these people, that people. Like, and not that you have to be nice, but you have to try to maybe understand people more than most do, and form relationships and be compassionate and be understanding to kind of get some of that back, you know? Is that kind of...
That's accurate.
That's how I see it.
Yeah,
like,
that's accurate, yeah.
And I think about my day, like I don't run into a lot of those situations. Like, everything's transactional. I can go to my house because I paid for my house. Man, that's different. I've never really quite thought of shit like that. And that's interesting. And you're on the other... So what did you kind of... What has that taught you?
Well, actually, one thing, one of the people that have come up to me and interacted with me, and he suggested that money is a lubricant for social interaction. It's just one of the aspects of money.
Okay.
And I thought that was really interesting because when I got down here, God delivered me an angel who connected me with some work. And this angel enjoys the finer qualities of being alive. Yeah. And she likes to take photos. Mm-hmm. And I offered her some money to take some private photos for some male modeling. Oh, wow. So we'll see if she says yes to that. So, you know, she can say no, but at least offer her some money rather than hoping she'll do it for free. Yeah. I know she needs the money. So,
well, it's nice to be able to, like, if people can give their time abundantly, you know, and like you said, it's a world of abundance. Well, time sometimes is the hardest thing to have an abundance of because it's a finite, irreplaceable resource. And like, it's nice to be able to pay people for the time if you can. I mean, and that's employment right there. They're trading, you know, time for money. That's what it is. But yeah. And I think it's the greatest gift you can give, really. More than money, more than things, more than accesses. If you give someone time, that's something you'll never get back.
Presence.
Ever. It's gone. It's gone forever. You make more money. You can get more property. If you borrow shit to people, loan shit to people, you can get more. That's all replaceable. That's infinite. But yeah, time is just so fucking finite. It's almost scary when you think of it like that. Like, you help your friend move. It takes you fucking 6 hours and you're like, fuck, that's gone forever.
Just my whole day.
Yeah. But then, you know, just something else just struck me there, you know, talking with you about this and your scrolling thing. We put so much value. Like, if I helped a friend move for 4 hours, I'm like, fuck. Or help them do something, some kind of task. Maybe you didn't want to do it. How much time do you waste fucking scrolling? Like, how much do we waste? We attach a price to it for work and other things, and our weekends and vacations and whatever we do is so valued But then how much do we just fucking waste? Just burn it like we're trying to get through it instead of holding on to it like we would money.
Can't hold on to the time.
More valuable than money, do you think?
It's definitely more valuable than money. Yeah.
Because without time, if you're out of time, money doesn't mean shit.
Right. Time rules money. If there's a hierarchy of things that rule things, time rules more than anything.
Yeah.
Then it would be energy, which can be considered like a money. And then there's the action with that energy.
Yeah.
And then there's love, mercy, wisdom.
Mm-hmm. Huh. It's an interesting way to think of it. So, you're doing this. So you're just recently down to Florida, not too long ago. But you were doing this up in
PA,
in Pennsylvania for 5-6 years. Yeah.
What is that? 2017, 18, 19,
Then
20, 22, 23. Yeah, 6 years.
do you meet or interact with or hang out with other people that do the same thing?
Not often.
Like
No.
you see someone else like camping, doing what you're doing. Do you ever like, hey?
Actually, when I got down here, I did meet someone pretty early on. Having those sort of interactions, he's kind of despondent. He's still, I think, living in his trauma, figuring out his own life, and he's kind of in his own thing. Everyone's in their own thing, and a lot of giving space just for people to be themselves. And, one of the things I picked up before my relationship broke down was that I'm to be an example.
Yeah.
I picked this up after doing some yoga.
Yeah.
And I had done yoga for 7 years with the intention that I'm having union with God.
Mm-hmm.
And I had started to go to a church that practiced meditation, which practiced listening to the whisper of God.
Yeah.
So then I was incorporating more meditation into my practice, and I finally received them to be an example.
Yeah.
And so I'm learning that as I go along.
So like trying to, inspire. I mean, that's the best way to teach, wouldn't it be?
Yeah. One of the things I could never stand in the learning process is someone who ever says, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, right.
Then you're not leading by example from the very beginning, from your very words. And if I can't trust you on your word, then what good is your word?
That's hard to do too. Yeah, the do as I say, not as I do. It's a hard standard, but
it's an impossible standard because we're monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, right.
Not monkey hear, monkey do. Monkey don't hear and understand English or any language.
Well, and it's like you can tell people things all day. They can read a million books. They can hear it all. But, example, I guess. That's the best way. It really is. If you're trying to change someone, maybe even too, like
anything,
show them a positive example and mirror that what you want to see, mirror it to them. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good way to fucking think of shit. I mean, you have kids, that's like your first man. That's one of those things, like you have a life before and after kids. Yeah, you're just like, because you're raising little mini yous, little mirrors.
Mm-hmm. They pick up on the vibe. Yeah.
It's something fucked up I heard, though, and it was kind of like there's a certain age where your kids are not learning from you as much as they are from other kids, because psychologically they can't process you being the same as them. There's like this certain age range where you look like God, like you can do anything. You can cook, you can reach everything. You're big, you can drive. And they're mostly watching and like learning a lot of their behaviors from like other kids, like school, stuff like that, because they see that as, similar, or maybe even like little older kids. And it was interesting watching my kids grow up doing that, like where they're really emulating
Their peers.
Yeah. And you see how important that is as they grow up, like that we give them a good pasture, you know?
Yeah. That's the whole inspiration to start living in the van, was I didn't have that example. And it led to a breakdown, and I didn't want to have that repeat itself.
Well, and I think like and I heard this from somewhere. I didn't invent the way this is said, but I've always kind of felt the concept of it, especially, well, actually only since raising kids, is this guy said, be shepherds, not engineers. So you're not engineering your kid. Like, and we have these parental relationships where maybe they tried to engineer us. Like, you're going to play piano. You're going to do this. You're going to be good at that because I was good at that. And they're not you and you're not them. You're different. You have some similarities. But I think that in this world we have now of like either hyper success or hyper neglect, goes one of the two ways. It's like people try to engineer their kids a little too much in that, instead of just realizing I just need to give them a safe place to live, some good examples, and they're going to become their own people. And that's the fucking point, right?
That's beautiful. That's a good way to put it.
The point is not to create this statue or this work of art at the end. The point is to create a kid that can become a functioning adult. And the sooner they leave, maybe the better you did. Like if they leave at 18 and go out and, okay, cool, see you at Christmas, come visit, you know, that seems to be a good thing because they're on their journey. You started that, and I don't know, it's a fucked up thing.
Why 18? Why not 14?
Yeah, I mean,
I thought
I was kind of, I was working, doing my own thing from 14, 15. Yeah. Like my mom barely saw me. I was just, you know, sleeping there. And I mean, I had a nice house to go home to and all that kind of stuff. There was no problem there, but I was wanting to get my life started.
That's beautiful.
And I was fortunate I didn't have to go back. But that was, I think we maybe misjudge or don't understand what raising kids is. You know, you're not supposed to make them straight A students and professional athletes, and you don't make them anything. They make themselves what they do. And, you know, all the training and sports and all the studying and grade pressure you put on them, you know, we want you to achieve, but you're not going to engineer them into something they're not. Yeah. So anyway, it's my tirade about that. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You're welcome.
Yeah. But how did you decide to come down to Florida?
It's a really simple decision. I was tired of another winter in the cold, and I picked one of the things we were talking about earlier was a plan versus just going with it.
Yeah.
And I was one to just kind of go with it, but my brother suggested to at least have some plan, you know, pick a spot. So I started doing some research and looked at different towns in Florida. I saw that Tampa had a really unique climate, in that part of it is subtropical and the other part of it is like this southern climate. And
there's like a line.
Yeah.
It's like it cuts an angle from Tampa Bay to Orlando, basically, of like climate zones. It's weird. You can see the temperature maps.
So
interesting.
I saw that and I said, okay, well, I got to stay below that line, because otherwise, if I'm up above that line, it's going to be cold. And there's no point in driving all this way if it's cold.
Yeah.
So I drove down, and then I looked at the Sarasota area, because it was a little not as developed, at least from what I could tell. And then I saw other things that are even less developed further south.
Yeah.
And it just kept going south.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, the ocean's beautiful. The beaches are beautiful.
Oh, man.
It's fucking great. It's better than Pennsylvania. Weather-wise, anyway.
This time of year, at least.
Yeah.
I hear it gets nasty in the summertime.
Yeah. I mean...
Well, that's the inspiration to keep working to get a job lifeguarding.
Mm-hmm.
Hang out on the beach. Because I asked him, I said, hey, is it going to be hot in the summer? And like, no, we got a nice ocean breeze. Like, all right.
If you're on the water in the summer, it's not bad.
I'm going to be all right if I get that job.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's not, if you get a little breeze and you're on the water, it's nice. It's comfortable, and you got something to keep you out the sun. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
We get that rain every day, though, too.
I heard a lot about this Florida weather, and this rain I heard was real intense. I hear it comes down real hard. Like, that's what I hear. I don't know. I haven't experienced it.
I heard someone explain it really well. It's not like we have winter, fall, spring, and summer. And traditionally, and this year was fucking weird, but there's like a wet season and a dry season when you get below a certain point in Florida. Because the temperature doesn't variate that much. Because at the hottest, it's getting up into the low 90s or something like that most of the time. Which isn't, that's not Phoenix hot. And then typically our highs in the winter could be around 70 or 75. So it's like, okay, so the temperature doesn't variate. So what's the big difference? Well, typically it doesn't rain all winter. It's dry. And by March, they're having forest fires and shit. March, April. And then the rains start coming in, but it's not like what we're used to up in, the Midwest or the other part of the country where the fronts bring the storms and the rain, right? All those fronts. It's more like the air just gets fucking saturated with humidity. It's so humid, and then it just pops. So it's like more tropical. So you get rainy season. Like rains every day for like 20 minutes. It's cool though. But kind of annoying. But you can count on it.
Count on it.
Yeah. Cools shit off.
I bet.
Which leaves you with like a nice late afternoon and evening.
That does sound nice. Maybe I will stick around for the summer.
Yeah.
At least the early part.
So, did you ever have so you've done this for a long time. Have you ever had safety issues where like people steal shit or fucking threatening you?
Yeah, I said the guy hanging on the door, and
nobody ever tried to like fucking break in, rob you.
I don't know. Haven't seen any indication of that.
That's good. So you felt pretty safe.
I mean, as safe as I can be. I mean, there's always a level of vulnerability. You know? It's like my life is that van.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm driving on the road. Anything happens.
Yeah.
Like every moment, it's an opportunity for catastrophe.
Yeah.
I'm living on the edge, man.
So, if you could go back to maybe 28 years old, I guess the kind of question is, I mean, would you do it again? What would you do different? What would you tell yourself? Is there a lesson and a moral that you've kind of found on this journey?
No, I don't like those sort of questions because there's no point in ever thinking about them.
Okay.
Because that was that time of my life, and I made whatever decision I made. And it led to wonderful opportunities to live in love. And I am so thankful for all the opportunities I've had since. And no, I just wouldn't change a thing. Living without regret is really important. I think having any amount of regret is just a lack of acceptance. And it's not okay. If you can't accept reality, you're never going to be happy.
What's the best thing you learned?
Just keep being and breathing love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep being and breathing love. Keep being an example.
And I read one of your posts, and one of the ones I liked the most, because you have a blog that you write on, was the one about surviving.
Ain't no shame in the game.
Ain't no shame in the game.
Ain't no shame in the game we got. Ain't no shame in the game.
I thought that was just a cool, like, little lesson, and you summarized it really nice. But is that something you kind of learned over the last
one of the
6-7 years?
Yeah, it's one of the things I picked up at the emotional and mental health facility.
Mm-hmm.
Something we talked about, just being in group. One of the things I like to say is I take group with me wherever I go. One of the things that for people who do participate in group, they really enjoy it because it's an opportunity to be acknowledged, to have that interaction in a positive, healthy, expansive way, not some sort of negative, unhealthy, contractive way.
Yeah.
And they want more of it. Most people want more of it. And the only thing that makes group is what you bring to group.
Mm-hmm.
So you could take group with you wherever you go.
Yeah.
We're in a group session right now.
Yeah.
Talking about things.
Yeah. Just sharing shit with people.
Sharing shit with people, being acknowledged.
Acknowledgement. That's really fucking important. That is huge.
It's the first step if you're in recovery of anything.
Yeah. It's like proof that you exist almost at some kind of fucking base level.
Mm-hmm. First thing I know is I don't know anything.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Well, cool. Well, thank you for coming on, sharing the story. It's really great talking with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on here. And thank you for having the need for content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we're trying to do a good thing.
I'm looking forward to giving this a listen, hearing what other people had to share.
Yeah.
It's going to be real cool to check it out.
Well, thanks. And to the listeners out there, thank you for tuning in. Till next time, stay out of trouble. We'll see you in church. Thanks.